Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another LiveWire Sports Media Update. All right, so we're going to get to it. We ain't even waste no time. There's been a lot of stuff come out for the last couple of days dealing with the Caitlin Clark situation, the racism in the WNBA. I put a video out, and I'm already working on an article about it. Will probably be dropping either today or tomorrow. But nevertheless, once I drop, I will share it. Now, and I probably had clips of this video inside that article as well. So Caitlin Clark has been the center of attention because certain people in the media and certain people in the WNBA want to label her and her fan base as racism and try to use that as a narrative to paint Caitlin Clark as a racist, which that's not true. Also, a disturbing factor came up on two clips. One was the resurfaced video of A'ja Wilson talking about Paige Bueckers and saying that Paige Bueckers, the only reason why she's a superstar the way she is or a great basketball player because she has white privilege, which that is totally bullshit as anything. Because if anything, everybody know anything about Paige Bueckers, then you could go look it up. But I will share the information on here real quick with y'all because sometimes people tend to misconstrue and everything like that, and then try to make it seem like this one person is that beneficial. I'm gonna show you this real quick. So Paige Bueckers, if you can see it real good, Paige Bueckers grew up as a single dad, but she was raised by a black family. A'ja Wilson, she went to a private school. She was raised by both kids. Now, who you think has that privilege? Who has the privilege? Bingo, A'ja Wilson. Because she grew up in a two-parent home. She went to a private school. She even dated outside her race. She don't talk about this. But then we sit here and want to downplay somebody like Paige. Now, Kelsey Plum, who also was, I forgot what college she went to, but she led the league and led the college in scoring as well. Plus, she also got drafted #1 pick, same as Caitlin Clark. Went through the same things as Caitlin Clark. And before I show you the clip of A'ja Wilson, I'm going to show you a clip of what Kelsey Plum had to say. And this right here opens a lot of eyes to what's really going on in the WNBA. You don't have to like Caitlin Clark, but you can't diminish what she has accomplished in college and what she has done in the WNBA. And how there are certain black women in WNBA don't want white athletes to speak up for themselves or say what they want to say because then they were seen like they target black women. But it's okay for black women to single out white women because they are great basketball players. And you don't see A'ja Wilson saying anything like that to Breonna Stewart. You don't see A'ja Wilson saying anything like that to Sabrina Ionescu. Yeah, Sabrina Ionescu went through it too. You don't see her saying anything about Diana Taurasi. It's kind of idiotic to sit here and think that, hey, because a white athlete could be just as great, just as good as a black athlete, but they can't be great because they white privilege got them to what it was. And that's totally BS. But I'm gonna let you listen to what Kelsey Plum had to say, then I'm gonna chime back in.
But you say if you would have been the number 2 pick or 3 pick as opposed to 1, how do you think that would have affected you, staying in the league through struggles, or not at all?
I mean, I would have been still in the league because I'm a dog. Like, I would have found a way. I would have found a way.
No question.
I definitely think the expectations of being a number 1 pick are brutal, especially if you have any type of hype or like media coming out of college. They're just brutal. And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that want to take your head off. Like, just straight up, right? Like, that's just what it is. And I didn't know. Me, happy-go-lucky, walking into the locker room like, hey. Like, I didn't know. I learned the hard way. But that's real. That's what it is. And I think that it would have been better in some ways because I would have been a little bit more under the radar. But in other ways, I definitely think that, having that type of struggle and adversity has prepared me for the moment I'm in now.
No question.
All right. And you listen to what she had to say. She say, hey, they want to take your head off because if she was black, she wouldn't have got that type of attention. She would have been more welcome. She would have been more coddled. She would have been more embraced. But since she's white and have that skill set, we're going to have to break her down. We're going to have to show her this. She's not going to come in here and run this league. This is our league. And that's what, quote unquote, some of the black women in the league thinks, that the WNBA is their league. No, it's everybody's league. I don't care what race you are. Because if you look at it in the NBA, they have international players in there. You got international players in the W too. That's just as damn good as a black or white person. So miss me with that. But you see how I say this, if Kelsey Plum didn't play for the Las Vegas Aces and she played for another team, I think she would be able to show her personality a little bit better. You look at Sabrina Ionescu, I think her playing with Breanna Stewart, because Breanna Stewart don't say much, but when she do talk, she kind of tote that rope a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And like she made a comment about what Alyssa Thomas had to say about the Indiana Fever fans being racist and stuff like that. And she was saying, if it was me, I would speak up on it. But guess what? Megan Rippling, Sue Bird's other half, came out today and said, hey, as an athlete, you have the platform to speak out if you choose to. But guess what? It's not required of you to do that. It's not your job. So for everybody that jumps on Caitlin Clark saying, she should have did more, she should speak up more. It's not her job to speak up for the black community. It's not her job to coddle black women in the WNBA. If you want to speak up on it for yourself. But don't use Caitlin Clark's name to benefit for what it is to make you feel good. Now I'm gonna show you this clip of A'ja Wilson or what she said to Kelsey Plum prior to what Kelsey Plum the clip I just played. And this is where I don't have a level of disdain for situations like this. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, there's athletes I don't rock with, but I'm never going to degrade them or I'm going to talk bad about them and say, because they not who they are. Because the fact of the matter is, it's sports. But when I could tell when people get in their feelings about it, and it annoys the hell out of me because it's like they trying to convey to me their reasons why they don't like a person or a certain event happened in the game that they try to make it seem like, wow, I went through it for 20 years. I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan there is. To me, I feel like he's the greatest. He is the greatest in my eye. But a lot of people don't like him because they call him a cheater. They call the organization a cheater. But guess what? All he went out to do is still win. He's won. So now he's in the broadcast booth and people critical of that. But that's because they don't like the guy. So my thing is, I'm going to show you this clip with A'ja Wilson, and then I'm going to get back to you.
as black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands.
I'm going to go back to it. Did you just hear what she said? She said Paige Bueckers remind her of Kelsey Plum. She knows that her white privilege got her to where she at in basketball. Not saying that Paige is a great athlete. Her and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, all of them played in AU together. They all played on the Olympic 19 together. You know what I'm saying? Well, speaking Paige and Clark. Paige has won awards and everything. But she tried to say that, because Paige white, her privilege got her to there. Hey, then guess what how she said it at the end? And she's she's good. And she could play basketball good. Like, if she didn't play basketball, if she wasn't good at basketball, she wouldn't be nothing. You see how we as black folks, we try to minimize somebody else's talent. Now we can sit here and say, they've been doing it for us for years. I don't care about what happened yesterday. I'm talking about today. It's sad that because everybody thinks Asia Wilson is the best thing in the WNBA, which to me, she's not. You know what I'm saying? She's not. She's not the GOAT. She's not the best in the world. And there's an argument Breanna Stewart could be the best in the world right now, the way she plays. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a huge UConn women's fan, never been, because I don't like Gina Auriemma. And he had a lot of negative comments to say about Clark. He had a chance to recruit Clark. Yeah. But at the same time, UConn put out a lot of talent. You know what I'm saying? They was a powerhouse. They was a juggernaut back then. But you can't sit there and minimize somebody else's talent to make you feel good as a person because of the color of their skin. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. Because hell, I was an athlete in high school. I played every sport, football, basketball, softball, everything. There was some white kids talented than I am. But guess what? I didn't demean their talent to make me feel good. I just went out and showed them how good I was. And if you that dog and you that good how you is, you would just go out in the corner and say, well, hey, I'm going to show you I'm better than you. Whether you are or not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to let y'all finish listening to it.
Us as black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like what pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a compliment.
She said that is a compliment. She said it reminds me more of you, and that's a compliment. Well, damn, Asia Wilson act like she the next Jordan, she the next Kobe, she the next LeBron James. Hell, I mean, you had to get to a stacked team to show who you are. Hell, the Aces had to build that team the way they are and got the pieces that they got. I'm sure if you had to be on a team like, say, the Washington Mystics or the Atlanta Dream and had to carry a franchise on your back, I'm sure you wouldn't be that person. Unlike what Caitlin Clark has done with her Leo Boston being there. Leo Boston was the first #1 pick last year, but they couldn't get over the hump until they got Caitlin Clark. And now they got over the hump. They made it to the playoffs. And sure, they will grow and get more into the playoff because there are dynamics that's going to prove that. You know what I'm saying? But just to diminish somebody's talent is asinine. And that's why I don't respect Asia Wilson. It's just something she cringes my damn skin every time I look at her. I see her smile, her fakeness, like at the All-Star game. She jumped where she was to come sit by Caitlin Clark and Leo Boston just to be nosy and fake smiling and stuff like that. And Caitlin Clark don't even rock with y'all like that. She handles her business. She say what she need to say. Her play on the court says otherwise. You know what I'm saying? And she don't let it phase her, because guess what? Whether you want to say she's privileged or not, but she raised right by her parents. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't go out there and badmouth nobody, because you never could say she has badmouthed somebody. She gives everybody praise. She even went behind closed doors to help travel teams that come to travel to Indiana to get them spot bonuses, because Indiana had drawn so much attention. But nobody didn't want to say nothing about that, because they shot it down, because they don't feel like, oh, well, Caitlin Clark don't need that credit. Let somebody else black come over there, then we could give them credit for it. It doesn't damn matter. She's trying to help out the league. Whether she wanted credit or not, she doesn't care about it. She cares about winning. And people just want to paint her in such a bad light that need to get off their damn high horse about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just simple as that. And me personally, I can't rock with people that don't see logic. They go by their feelings about something, and they don't look at facts and knowledge and stuff like that. They just want to harbor feelings because they don't like the person. She could care less. But now, moving on, Sue Bird. Sue Bird has been, her and Megan, they have been advocated some very good support for Caitlin Clark. Bless me. She has time and time again talked heavily about Caitlin Clark. Her game, Caitlin Clark met her. She done went and spoke at Iowa to Caitlin Clark's school. And by the way, yeah, she graduated from UConn. So I don't know how some of y'all UConn fans gonna feel about that. How, she supports Caitlin Clark. But anyway, I could care less. And she talked about some of the things about racism, about how they trying to pin this on Clark, and how, she talked about how her and Diana Taurasi was the one that started the conversation about Clark. Even they call Clark their love child. Yeah, Diana Taurasi, she could be a little fickle at times, but Clark had to prove her wrong. Yeah, and when you come as a rookie and you come into a new league, yeah, you got to prove yourself, and it's a prove it moment. Now her, Diana Taurasi and Caitlin Clark are a good. Like she says, she called Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird called Caitlin Clark their love child. She has the skills of Sue Bird. She has the attitude of Diana Taurasi, and you can't deny that. But I'm gonna let you listen to what Sue Bird had to say in one clip, and then I'm gonna come back, and then I'm gonna play the next clip.
Can we just like call a spade a spade? Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. This is not a new thing. Sure. This is, and in that way, I do think Caitlin's being used as a pawn. Mm-hmm. Caitlin didn't bring racism to the WNBA.
I'm gonna stop it right there before I go back into it. Did you hear what she said? She said racism has been a part of the WNBA way before Caitlin Clark came there. So Alyssa Thomas, this goes out to you. You sit there and said that you've been in the league for 11 years and you never experienced it like that, then you lying. Because Sue Bird just said that racism has been in the league way before Caitlin Clark there. And just for you to pin something on Caitlin Clark is very asinine and delusional in your part. Continue.
Can we just like call a spade a spade? Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. This is not a new thing. Sure. This is, and in that way, I do think Caitlin's being used as a pawn. Mm-hmm. Caitlin didn't bring racism to the WNBA. This has been happening. And that, I think, is what's been such a shock for all of us, mm-hmm. that other people are surprised by this. Mm-hmm. We've been trying to tell you. And once again, for so long, as a player, I would almost joke. I'd be like, I would have loved to have shut up and dribble. Mm-hmm. In so many ways, I would have loved to have been valued as a basketball player. I would have been loved to have been spoken about just for my play. Mm-hmm. I think everybody in the league can say that. Mm-hmm. But nobody ever let us do that. So what happened? We started to build a backbone,
Yeah.
a little bit of an identity.
Got
We
organized.
understood that in order to push our league forward, we were going to have to combat these things. And then you know what else we learned? It feels good to stand up for yourself. It feels even better to stand up for others. We started to learn that people were learning from us and able to follow us in a different way. And who are we following? Black women. So that's such an important part. And I think, again, I get sad when I talk about this a little bit in that we're still not talking about basketball.
No.
We're still not allowed
yeah.
to be focused on for our basketball play. And it's not to say we're not going to continue to combat these things. That'll always exist, I think, in the fabric of our league. But we still aren't talking about basketball.
Yeah.
And now I agree with her up to this point because I feel like white athletes shouldn't have to coddle black women in the league. I just feel that way. If black women want to be recognized, get up and speak out. You don't have to throw racism in every damn conversation just to have validation. Or you don't have to throw a white athlete that's good under the bus. You know what I'm saying? And like Sue Bird say, they using Caitlyn as a pawn to use her name to identify racism or say, well, her fans are racism when you got trolls and bots that's hide behind these accounts all day long. And you sit there and say, well, hey, it's her fans. No, it's not her fans because the fact of the matter is you had a fan at the Connecticut Sun game calling Caitlin Clark a C word and saying, I wish you trip and break your neck. You know what I'm saying? And she had a big ups to Caitlin Clark for having that fan thrown out. See, the thing about it is when you are a big star like she is, it's easy to be jealous. It's easy to be envy. It's easy to be devious. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all been, like you say, Alyssa Thomas, you've been in the league for 11 years. Nobody knew who the hell you was. And sure enough, you don't even have the fan base as a Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese coming in or Cameron Brink for that matter. This is a new wave of generation of talent that's coming in that bringing their own fan base and making other people become fans instantly who never been fans before. So, and the WNBA has been so much of a middle of a road league for so long, they got comfortable with it. And then now that they have finally got the spotlight that they deserve, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's and then you got your commissioner of the league that's a total jackass. You know, she don't even know how to handle marketing or media exposure. She just sits there and grin like something's funny. So now I'm gonna play this final clip of Sue Bird, and then I'll come back to you.
That actually has to go. That has to go. I understand why at times it's been used. It's kind of just when you're in an interview and you get asked a question, it's kind of easy to go, the FIFA fan base.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? That has to go.
These new fans. It has to go because it's not the Fever fans. It's not Caitlyn fans. That is a large group of people. Let's stick with the Fever for a second. That is a large group of people. And what we're talking about as we get into the meat of this, we're talking about the faction of that group that is pushing racist agendas and is pushing hate and creating, divisiveness online, acting as fans. Acting as Fever fans, acting as Caitlyn fans. Now, whether or not they like basketball, whether or not, I don't know. But that's the group of people we're talking about. Not all Fever fans, not all new fans, just the ones that are out there pushing this shit. That is what we're talking about.
Exactly. And I totally agree with everything Sue Bird is. And I'm a huge fan of Sue Bird. I love Sue Bird. And because she's very modest, she tells it like it is. She don't sugarcoat it. And she's been like a big advocate for for Caitlin Clark, same as Cheryl Miller, Tamika Catchings, Cynthia Cooper, and Billie Jean King, and others, LeBron James and others. So therefore, to label her fans as the ones that's spewing racism just to put some kind of advocate agenda or some kind of political agenda is really wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because Caitlin Clark said it herself in her exit interview. They not fans, they trolls. Now, and you heard what Sue Bird had to say. She come back that. So now, Alyssa Thomas, you looking like an ass because you went out there and tried to label Caitlin Clark and try to smear her name to make her look bad. Even with the Dejanay Carrington situation, trying to get a reporter fired because she asked about if you intentionally poked her in the eye, which we all know that it was intentionally, but you didn't want to answer that. And you think somebody's coming for you. See, sometimes you got to have thick skin. And apparently these women in the WNBA don't have thick skin. They're too sensitive. They want it all, but they don't know how to handle it when they get it. And like I said before in a lot of my videos, in my last video, Caitlin Clark is not going nowhere. This is just the beginning. And like 50 Cent and golly, what's the dude name? The song Hate It or Love It. Because the underdog's on top. So, and she's an underdog and she's about to be on top. So until then, it's your boy LiveWire Sports Media for another Fever update. I'll be back with some Washington Commander stuff. And check out, I'll be dropping probably 2 articles today or tomorrow. One for Fever and one for the Commanders. Until then, you know what I say at the end of my video. You know what it is.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.